President has ordered Navy ships to pause operations in the Pacific following the collision of the USS John S. McCain and an oil tanker 3 times its size. This collision, which took place off the coast of Singapore, has left 10 U.S. sailors missing. This is the 4th major accident this year in the Pacific. Why have we seen so many naval accidents this year? We're going to bring in our panel. We have a lot to discuss. We have former Navy SEAL Dave Sears with us and James Carafano, Heritage Institute Foreign and Defense Policies Vice President. Good to see both of you.
Hi.
Dave, let me begin with you. You know, the U.S. Navy announcing this operational pause so they can begin an investigation. Do you think there is something institutionally wrong which is causing these deadly collisions?
I think that there has to be, absolutely. To me, there's an initial short-term leadership problem that's happened with 4 of these events, but these leadership problems are generally systemic. So, as the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Richardson, said, is they need to get to the root causes, and that looks like it's a cultural piece. What is going on? What are the root causes behind this?
Well, Representative Thornberry, who's the chair of the House Armed Services Committee, he said, look, the time at sea for our sailors is increasing, the ships are aging, and the funding is getting shorter. So the funding is getting cut. James, do we need more resources?
Yeah, look, I've been in this business for 40 years, 25 in the Army, and this. I've never seen a safety record like this, and it's not just at sea. We've had, I think, 14 non-combat aviation, helicopter, and fixed-wing crashes this year. So it does look like there's something systemic here, and we have kind of ridden this military hard and put it away wet. We've underfunded training and readiness and maintenance for a number of years now, so maybe that is part of the root cause of this.
James, I want to ask you another question. I want to move on to Afghanistan today. Tonight, the president will address the longest war we've ever been in, 16 years now. We have about 8,000 U.S. troops in Afghanistan now, plus 5,000 NATO officers. The president is expected, we don't know this, he's expected to say 4,000 additional troops, but any increase being paired with the requirement that the Afghans themselves do more. Is that what you're expecting or what you think the president should say?
Right, I think that's right. And you have to remember, this is not Afghanistan 2001. This is a very different mission. This is not go in and defeat somebody and leave. This is about sustaining Afghanistan's ability to not be a destabilizing force of the region, not be a platform for terrorism. And it's about keeping the Afghan military in the field. We built this military, and then because of this artificial troop number that Obama put on it, we underfunded undercapped the resources to sustain them so they could fight over time, not take heavy casualties, and hold ground in the field. Hopefully this strategy will fix that.
Dave, what do you expect the strategy to be? Because, look, we've seen $714 billion spent and 2,200 U.S. soldiers losing their lives fighting in Afghanistan. How do you make it worth it?
Right. What I expect it to be and what I think it should be are 2 different things. I think that you are going to see a small troop increase come out of here, and they're largely going to me, it's a kick the can down the road piece. It's a non-decision. You need to look at the Afghans have proved that they are not engaged in this fight. They can't conduct the fight. They can't hold up their military. We have to hold their feet to the fire. And one way to do that is I would be heavily looking at, and there should be a big debate on full withdrawal out of there.
Yeah.
I think Dave's just wrong. I think Dave's just butt-flat wrong. The Afghans have been fighting. They've been taking all the casualties, and this is about sustaining their capability. And some costs mean nothing. How we got here and why we're here are irrelevant.
Right.
What's best for U.S. interests going forward? It's winning, and the Afghans are fighting for their future. I just think the way you describe the Afghan military, it's 100% wrong.
Well, but then the question is, how do you fill the void, and what does terror get worse in the void? Dave, respond.
Right. I don't think the terror gets worse in the void. You'll have to see that. But we show the capability to go in and strike. Countering a safe haven or eliminating a safe haven is different than nation building. And so until Afghanistan addresses some systemic problems that they have with corruption. I mean, you have a vice president that's in exile, in jail, that's or not in jail, but in Turkey, that's a previous warlord. Afghanistan is not as glossy on their side as we make it look. The Taliban's doing a great job of recruiting. Afghanistan is not.
Do you want to respond to that?
Dave's he's just flat wrong. We walked away in Iraq, and look what happened.
Yeah.
It became a huge terror safe haven and a global problem. So he's just describing a formula for failure that we've already tried. I'm sorry.
And then, but also, guys, you got to look at the regional partners there, right? What can Pakistan do? What can India do? What can they do, Dave?
You're absolutely right. So India could get involved more, could put some pressure on Pakistan. But if we come out of this and we get away from it, we start to give these problems to everybody else. So Russia has to come in. Right now, they're able to fund the Taliban. They don't want them back. They're able to help. Iran likes this. We're taking all the hits here for what? That's what I want to see come out of the strategy. And as James said, what's it for, James? Why are we doing this? What's the end goal here?
Well, it's definitely gotten a little
right.
muddy
So the
after all these years.
goal is Afghanistan. That's not a regional problem, and it's not a platform for terrorism. And I think the strategy that's announced will do that. And if we walk away, all of our interests are at risk. It makes no sense.
All right, I got to get North Korea in this final minute, guys. We started today the U.S. and South Korean military drills. North Korea sees them as a provocation, as being antagonistic. What should the strategy be? What are the options that we have, Dave, in North Korea?
I think we keep going down the path we're going. You hold this exercise. You can't bow down to North Korea and back out of there. You can't show them those pieces. I think what we have to improve is our strategic communications. Make sure that we continue communicating on the same line as Secretary Tillerson and General Mattis and the commander of PACOM have done. They've largely sent the same message. This is defensive.
Right.
We will not initiate.
But James, in a way, isn't that learning to live with the North Korea nuclear threat and accepting it?
Well, I think Dave's exactly right. Again, just like Afghanistan, you have to go back and what is our goal? Our goal here is there's not a regional conflict. That's bad for everybody. And they can't directly attack the United States. Through nuclear deterrence, strategic deterrence, missile defense, sanctioning the North Koreans, we can achieve those goals. And so that's what we have to focus on.
All right. Dave Sears, James Carafano, good to see both of you gentlemen.
Thanks, Lauren.
And a reminder to keep it right
Thanks.
here on Fox Business for President Trump's primetime address on the future of the war.